येषां श्रीकृष्णलीला ललितरसकथा सादरौ नैव कर्णौ धिक्तान् धिक्तान् धिगेतान् कथयति नियतम् कीर्तनस्थो मृदङ्गः नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये. Dear devotees of God, as per our custom, let's now sing the glory of God, the names of God, for a few minutes before I begin my discourse. भज राधे गोविंद 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 भज राधे भज राधे गोविंद 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 भजु 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 राधे गोविंद। बोलिए राधा गोविंद की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। Devotional listeners, now I humbly request your full attention as I proceed with the topic of the essence of Bhagavad Gita. I also request, as always, that you check your cell phone to please make sure it has been turned off. Thank you. This evening we will learn yet another very important lesson from the Bhagavad Gita, otherwise known as Bhagavad Gita-upanishad. In the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says to Arjun, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanuma shritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Arjun, when I descend to earth, ignorant beings veiled by Maya fail to recognize me. They don't recognize me to be who I am. They think me to be an ordinary person. So beguiled by Maya, people of the world fail to understand my divine nature. Shri Krishna says in the Gita at another place that his birth and his actions are both divine. Janma karma chame divyam. Janm is birth, karma actions, divyam, divya means divine. So both my birth as well as my actions are divine. But he says, he laments the fact that people of the world do not recognize him. And there is a good reason for that. That's also told to us in the Gita. Indriyani paranyahur rindriyebhya param manasastu para buddhir yo buddheh paratastu saha. There is a sequence that is disclosed to us by the Gita. You see, Arjun, first there are the senses. Our five senses of sight, smell, sound, taste and touch. Beyond them, greater than them, are the objects of the senses. Beyond the objects of the senses is the mind. Beyond the mind is the buddhi, the intellect. Beyond the intellect is the soul. Beyond the soul, greater than the soul, is Maya. Greater than Maya is God. That is a sequence. Sense organs, object of the senses, mind, intellect, soul, Maya, God. So our mind is the one with which we perceive the world. Our mind is the one with which we attain the knowledge of a personality. So when we see God, these senses of ours, sight, smell, sound, taste and touch, and then the mind, they are all under the control of Maya. Maya is here. Beyond, and then there is the soul, there is the intellect, there is the mind, the senses. So our senses, mind and intellect, all of them are under the control of Maya. Maya, the deluding potency of God. So because we are controlled by Maya, our senses, mind and intellect, they see Sri Krishna, they see God, and they look upon him as an ordinary man. He is just as I am. There's nothing special about him. We even go to the extent of saying, I'm better than him. We don't recognize him, and it's no wonder because we are controlled by Maya. We are deluded by Maya. Our experiences are colored by the colors of Maya. The tricolored Maya, white, red and black, representing the three modes of Maya, Sattva Gun, Rajogun, Tamogun. So our senses, mind and intellect are colored. They are affected by the colors of Maya. And whosoever they see, our eyes see God and they say, that's a worldly man. They see Radharani, that's a worldly girl. That's an ordinary girl. When we hear people like Durvasa, the great sage Durvasa, who says, no, that's not an ordinary boy, that is God who has descended to earth. Then we think, oh, what a madman he is. This little boy, this mischievous boy, naak mein dam kar rakha hai jisne. He's so mischievous, he goes around troubling the gopis, so he is God? Indeed. Yeah, well, you can keep God to yourself. We want nothing to do with you or your God. This is what we have thought. This is what we would have thought. We must have thought it. We simply cannot recognize God by ourselves. So can we ever know Him? Can we ever attain God? Can we ever know God? Yes, we can. And how can we? Not through our personal effort, but only through the grace of God. We can know God. We can attain Him. We can understand Him only through His grace. When He graces us, we will be able to know Him. We will see Him and we'll say, that's God. Because He'll give us His eyes. Arjun said to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, I want to see your true form. Shri Krishna said, you would not like it. You know me as your friend and as your cousin, and you know that who I am, but you would not want to see my universal form, my godly form. Arjun insisted. No, Maharaj, I want to see you as you are. I want to see you as God. Shri Krishna says, well, you cannot see me as God using your eyes. You have material eyes. And Arjun said, well, can you give me the eyes with which I can see you as God? Shri Krishna said, you need divine eyes. Please give that divine eyesight to me. I shall, because you are deserving. Dadami divyam te chakshu. Here, Arjun, I give you divine eyes. With these divine eyes, you will see me as who I am. As soon as Shri Krishna gave Arjun the divine eyesight, and how did he give here divine eyes? No, not like this. He just thought about it. Let Arjun have divine eyes, and Arjun has divine eyesight. Now he sees Shri Krishna, and he closes his eyes. Because he sees there's no beginning, no middle, no end to the formidable form of Shri Krishna. And he sees that flames are rising from each and every pore of his body. Countless Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar are entering his body, and countless are leaving his body. He could not see this form. He started shaking like a leaf. The Gandhivadhari, the very strong, very mighty Arjun, he started trembling like a leaf. He closed his eyes and he said, Maharaj, I do not wish to see you as God. Shri Krishna said, I told you already. But you insisted. So when God gives us divine eyes, then we'll be able to see Him as God. When He gives us divine hearing, we'll be able to hear the sound of His flute. So we need to attain God's grace. We cannot know Him in any other way. In the beginning of the Gita, we read about Arjun who is very confused. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid of killing all these people. I'll be incurring sins and I don't want to do that. I'll go to hell after death if I kill all of them. So then he also asked for Lord Krishna's guidance. So all that we've talked about in the beginning of the Gita. Now at the end of the Gita, in the 18th chapter, the final chapter of the Gita, Shri Krishna says, Arjun, are you still confused? Has your ignorance been destroyed? And Arjun says, Maharaj, I'm happy to say that I am no longer ignorant. My ignorance has been destroyed. Nashto moha smritir labdha. Arjun, Tell me, how did that happen? Maharaj, Tvat Prasadan Maya Achyut. Oh Achyut. One of the names of Shri Krishna. Oh Achyut. It all happened because of your grace. There's no other way that I could attain your knowledge. There's no other way of eradicating ignorance. Only through your grace do I have true knowledge now. No matter how many scriptures you read, no matter which method you employ in order to get to know God, all those methods will fail. There are no means or methods through which we can know God. The only way is to plead helplessness before Him. A saint has said, Bhagavad praptyupayo hi sarva sadhana hinata. The only way to attain God, and please wake up if you are feeling very comfortable. Don't sit too comfortably. Sit with a straight back. The only way to attain God's knowledge is to plead helplessness before Him. Cry out to Him that I don't know how to know, I don't know you, I don't know what to do in order to know you. I have not even a trace of devotion within me. I don't know anything. I'm your ignorant child, and I am completely dependent on your grace. The only way to know Him is to attain His grace and to cry before Him, pleading helplessness. But some people say, what if we can know Him by combating His Maya? What if I just defeat Maya, I'll be able to know Him? True. The one who conquers Maya can know God. But how can we conquer Maya? How can we defeat Maya? Because Shri Krishna says in the Geeta, Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metantarantite. Arjun, this Maya, it's my energy. Mama Maya, my Maya. This is my energy. And because Maya is God's energy, it is as mighty as God Himself. It's as powerful as God. Therefore, Shri Krishna says, no one can defeat my Maya without my grace. It's only when I say to Maya, Maya, leave this one alone. Leave him alone. Because you see, he has attained my grace. He has become mine now. So when the Supreme Lord motions to Maya to leave the individual alone, that's when Maya leaves the individual, the devotee, alone. And now he's no longer controlled by Maya. Now he can see God. He can see Shri Krishna, who He is, what He is. He can know everything about Shri Krishna, about God. So Maya is not something it's not a trifling power. It's a power of God. It's a personal power of God. God energizes Maya. God gives Maya His divinity, and He makes Maya as powerful as He is. And therefore, the greatest ones, Brahma, Shankar, they are afraid of Maya. Maya is making everyone dance to its tune. Sabahi nachavat Ram Gusai. So Maya, the power of Ram, is making everyone dance to its tune. So when we try to defeat Maya, conquer Maya, and thereby attain the grace, attain the knowledge of Shri Krishna, then we come to understand that we are very small and Maya is too great. We cannot defeat Maya by ourselves. Once Narad Muni wanted to know about Maya. What is this Maya? Why is everyone so afraid of it? What is this Maya? And Bhagwan said, and he asked, Bhagwan, what is this Maya of yours? The Supreme Lord said, Narad, we will see about that some other time, but right now my throat is parched and I need some water. Go and get some water for me to drink. Narad Muni was sent on this task. He said, Maharaj, I will be right back. So he went, and nearby there was a well, and he was about to get water from the well when he saw a beautiful young maiden there, fetching water from the well, drawing water from the well. And he became so besotted with her that he forgot all about water, and he followed her home. He followed her home, and there he spoke to her father and said, I would like to marry your daughter. The girl's father agreed. And Narad Muni, he got married to this young lady. And they started living as man and wife. And sometime later, the father-in-law died, and he left all his property to Narad. So the fields and the house, everything was left to Narad. Now he's a householder. He and his wife had many children, and they were all living very happily. And then one day a river was flowing through the village, and there were heavy rains, and the river started to swell, and there was a flood. Very soon there was a flood. And the water of the river, the current was so fast that people started just drowning in the water. Narad Muni and his family, Naradji was very afraid of his family drowning in the water, so they were all holding on to each other. He was holding on to them, and then they all were taken away by the water. He was holding on to them, and they were clutching onto him for dear life, but one by one, they all were taken by the water, the flow. And Naradji was left alone, and somehow he made it to the shore. And when he went to the shore, he started crying bitterly. He had lost everything. He has lost his wife, his children, everything was lost. So he was crying and crying. Suddenly, he felt a hand on his shoulder. And he looked back. Oh, my Lord, I forgot all about you. I had gone to get water for you. What happened? How much time has elapsed? So many years have passed. Bhagwan said, for you, Narad, it was many years. For you, for me, it was just a moment in time. Just a moment passed for me, but for you, so many years. Maharaj, how did this happen? Narad Muni was so surprised. He was so distressed. He said, how did this happen? And Bhagwan said, you wanted to know about Maya, and this is what Maya is. This is what Maya is. I send my children to the world. I send them to earth to attain me, to know me, to love me, and to reach me. But they embrace Maya. Maya overtakes them and they forget all about me. Garbh mein kiye the vaade, Garbh mein kiye the vaade, Govind Radhe, Bhakti karunga kintu bhool gaye vaade. Jagat Guru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj says in Radha Govind Geet, when you were in the mother's womb, you made a promise to God that when you take birth, you will become a devotee. You will remain devoted to God all life long. But when you took birth, you forgot all about that promise you made. You became attached to Maya and you forgot everything that you had said to him. So the Supreme Lord said to Narad, this is what my Maya is all about. We cannot defeat Maya. It's too powerful. Just as we cannot defeat God, we cannot conquer God, so we cannot conquer Maya. So that is not a possibility. Some say that Maya is just an illusion. Adi Shankaracharya says it's an illusion. Brahma Satyam, only God is true. Mithyam Jagat. Jagan Mithya and the world, the manifestation of Maya, it is false. It is false. But Tulsidas ji says, even if you say that Maya is not true, it's only a figment of our imagination, even then, even if you say it's an imagination, even this imagination will not go away without the grace of God. And Tulsidas ji also says in the Ramayana, Joi bandhe soi chore. In very few words, he has explained, he has said that the one who binds you with Maya, he is the only one who can release you from the clutches of Maya. Only God can release you from Maya's hold. Then some say, well, why don't we go to the Guru? We can accept a Guru, and the Guru will help us attain God. And the scriptures say, absolutely, yes, that is true. So all the scriptures say that a Guru can take you from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light. Because he's a divine teacher, he knows everything about God. He has attained God realization. So he can definitely take you to God. That is true. However, how are we going to recognize a Guru? We cannot recognize God, and at the same time, it is also true that we cannot even recognize a Guru. Countless Gurus have come to this world, and we have not understood them, we have not recognized them, we denounce them, we mock them, we try to kill them, we've tried to take away their scriptures. We have given them poison, we put them in jail, we've hung them on the cross, nailed them to the cross. What have we not done? We have called them all the bad names, the worst names possible. Today we glorify Mirabai, but in her times when she was alive, so many people, I'm sure we were all included in that. We were saying she's a woman of low character. She is characterless. There she is singing and dancing with abandon, and does she not know that men are looking at her? She has no concern, she's shameless. Today we sing her songs, her bhajans, and we cry when we hear them, and when we sing them, they're so beautiful. But at that time, we mocked her, we called her all sorts of names. Tulsidas ji, his scripture Ramayana is, we worship it. We worship that scripture Ramayana, and we love it. We shed tears when we listen to it. We get goosebumps on our skin when we hear the Ramayana. But at that time, 500 years ago, people tried to steal his Ramayana. Surdas ji, great blind devotee of Shri Krishna, we called him all the worst names possible. So this is how we treat saints when they come to this world. But when they leave, after some time, we start praising them. It's silly, but we do that. Foolishly, we fail to recognize them during their lifetime, but after they leave, we glorify them. We say, oh, Tulsidas ji Maharaj, Surdas ji, Mirabai. We take their name with great faith and reverence and love. How are we going to recognize a Guru, a saint? We can't. We simply cannot. So as Vibhishan says to Hanumanji, Ab mohi bha bharos Hanumanta, binu hari kripa milahi nahi santa. Sant vishuddh milahi punitehi, राम कृपा करि चित वही जेहि. जब द्रवहि दीन दयाल राघव साधु संगत पाइए. Vibhishan said to Hanumanji, now I have full faith that Bhagwan Ram has sent you. You are the Guru, and Bhagwan Ram, he is the Lord. He has sent you to me because I'm not capable of recognizing a saint, a sant, a Guru. We try to recognize a guru or a saint by looking at the color of his clothes, the length of his hair, the quality of his voice, whether he was born in the Brahman's family or Shudra's family, his caste, the caste he was born in. And none of these should be looked upon. We look at the number of disciples. So many people have asked me over the years, how many disciples does Maharajji have? I said, I'm sure I do not know because they don't tell me they're his disciples. They're all over the world. I'm sure that no one can count them. But why even look at that? Why take that into consideration? So we try to recognize a saint through all the wrong means. God steps in. He says, well, you are desirous of a guru, so I will help you out. And God leads us in the right direction. Maharaj used to talk about that. And he never talked about himself as being a guru, but sometimes he would let it slip out. He would say, some of you, many of you, you came to see what the fuss is all about. Maybe the husband said to his wife, where are you going all this time? Who is this Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj? So he was intrigued. And then he said, let me check him out. Let me see what this fuss is all about with you and so many others in the neighborhood. Well, Maharaj said he came to me and he wanted to just examine me, test me. And then he looked at me, he said, I want to see. And then he saw me and he kept on seeing. He kept on looking. He never looked away. Meaning he just stayed. Internally, he stayed with me, Sri Maharaj said. Or someone is going somewhere and then he hears this lecture. And then he says, that's let me just see what this is all about. He goes in, sits way at the back of a big, large hall. And then he starts taking interest and more interest and more interest. And then he comes to the front. And then he says, I've got to come back tomorrow. This is amazing. All my questions are being answered. In this way, God guides the seeker to a guru. You've heard that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And you wonder, how does the teacher appear? Does he knock at the door? Knock, knock. Does he ring a doorbell? And then I say, oh, you've come. I was ready. No, God somehow, in one way or the other, God guides the seeker to a true guru. Without God's grace, no one can recognize a guru. We simply cannot do it. So once again, we're back to the grace of God. The word dayase, meaning kripa or grace, appears in Rig Veda 21 times. This word grace, kripa, and in other words, the same synonyms as kripa, they appear in the scriptures so many times because all the scriptures say the same. So what is meant by God's grace? And we tend to misunderstand what God's grace is. Because so many times we say, if God wills it so, I will be there. And I will go to the mandir, I will come to the mandir if it is the will of God. We don't understand what the grace of God really means. Does it mean that God rules all our actions? Is it God? People say, well, God is doing everything for me. So whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing it. God is doing it. Is that true? No. We say, uski satta ke bina patta bhi nahi hilta. Not even a leaf stirs without his will, without him willing it so. Is that true? That God is doing everything for us? That's what his grace means? The answer is no. Shri Krishna says in the Geeta, na datte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu. He says in these two verses, I'm not the doer. I'm not doing things for you. You are the doer. So even the scriptures seem to suggest, hoi hai soi jo Ram ruchi rakha. Ramayana says, hoi hai soi jo Ram ruchi rakha. Ko kari tark badha vahi sakha. What does this verse mean then? It clearly says, and this is not even Sanskrit, it's a mixture of Hindi and Avadhi. So what does Tulsidas Ji mean when he says that whatever God wills, will happen. Everything happens due to God's will. What does he mean by that? What he means is that God, this is very important for us to understand. Because then, once we understand it, we won't make lame excuses. Like, I guess God wanted me to fail. It's not my shortcoming. It's not like I didn't study enough. I didn't work hard enough. We don't say that's it. It's God's will. We will not be making these lame excuses once we understand that we are performers of our own actions. You see, if God were the performer of our actions, then why would he specify do's and don'ts in the scriptures? Why would he need to say do this, do this, do this? There's a list of do's and list of don'ts. Don't do this. Oh, don't do that. It's a mistake. Don't do that. They're do's and don'ts, and that's what the Vedas are. They give us the do's and don'ts. Do always speak the truth. Do not harm anyone. Ma hinsyat sarva bhutani. Do not be violent towards any living creature. This is why vegetarianism, even to this day, is prevalent in India, where most of the Hindus live. It's because the Vedas say this. Ma hinsyat sarva bhutani. Do not be violent towards any living creature. And it's not only humans who are living creatures, it's birds, animals, insects, even trees. But we cannot survive without eating even fruits and vegetables. So that much violence is allowed. But on the whole, violence is not allowed. Do not be violent. So we have been given do's and don'ts. Matri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, all those do's and then don'ts. So if God were the performer of all our actions, there would have been no need for him to say do this and don't do that, right? Moreover, if God is performing all our actions, why are we being punished and rewarded? Then God should take the punishment and he should reward himself. But our scriptures tell us, if you do good, then you'll attain good results. If you perform sinful actions, you will go to the hellish abodes. So why would we suffer the consequences of actions if God is the doer? And then if God is the performer of all our actions, then everyone should be doing the same thing. But why is it that some people are doing good, others are doing the bad thing? Twin brothers, one is writing a check to charity, the other also has a check in his hand, he's forging his own signature. He's trying to deceive. So they're twin brothers. They grew up in the same household, the same parents and everything. Everyone is doing something different. One brother is doing something good, the other one is committing a crime. So if God were the performer of our actions, we would all be doing, either everyone would be doing good things or everybody would be doing bad things. If God were the performer of all our actions, then what was the need for earth, heaven, and hell? If you perform virtuous actions, I will send you to Swargalok, heaven or celestial region, for some time. If you perform sinful deeds, I will send you to hell for some time, but there's a lot of punishment there, a lot of misery, a lot of grief, a lot of pain and suffering there. And if you perform a mixture of both good and bad actions, you'll come back to this world in different forms of life. So God is judging us for our actions. Then it's obvious that we are performing our own actions. He is not responsible for them. So when scriptures and saints, when they say to us that God is the one doing everything, what they mean is this. God energizes our senses, our mind, and our intellect to perform actions. If God did not give the energy to the senses, we would not have been able to see, hear, taste, touch, or smell anything. Excuse me. If God had not given the energy to our mind, we would not have been able to think anything. And with our intellect, we couldn't have made any decision. You see, the mind and the intellect, they're both the same. It's the mind. But the mind performs two actions. One is it thinks. The other is it takes decisions. When it's thinking, it's called the mind. When it's taking decisions, it's called the buddhi or the intellect. Without God giving energy to our mind and intellect, we couldn't have thought anything. We could not have taken any decisions. So, that's what the scriptures and saints mean. This is a very brief explanation. This is what it means when they say that God is a performer of all actions. But it's like a river. A river is there for everyone, and river provides water for everyone. But it depends on you how you use it. There are many people using it for recreational purposes. They're water skiing, they're doing water skiing, they're swimming, they're doing so much. They're using it for recreational purposes. That water is also being used to wash clothes and for drinking purposes. And someone is jumping into the river to put an end to his life. Some people also do that. So should we hold the river responsible? If you were not here, that man would have been alive today. No, because the river provided water for everyone, but the river didn't tell anyone how to use the water. It's up to you. Or a policeman is given a gun for self-protection. But if that policeman ends up shooting himself deliberately, then his superiors are not going to be held responsible that if you had not given him a gun, he would be alive today. No, we just gave him the gun for self-protection. And to shoot at others, if let's say if a criminal is running away, we gave it to him for those purposes. We did not tell him to shoot himself. That's his own choice. In the same way, God gives us the power to think and to take decisions, but He does not tell us. He does not govern our actions. He doesn't say, okay, you are puppets in my hands and I will make you move as I want. I will make you do good actions if I want. I will make you do bad actions if I so desire. No. It's all up to us. So God is not the performer of our actions. We are responsible for what we do. But without God's power, we could not have done anything. We are nothing without God energizing us. The soul itself is who we are, and the soul receives consciousness from the Supreme Soul. We have no existence without God. So He is the one who graces us with this energy with which we can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell the world, and we can think about the world, we can think about God, we can take decisions. So receiving the grace of God means that exactly what He gave to Arjun. It means receiving the divine eyes from God, the divine hearing from God. Everything becomes divine. The moment God graces an individual, everything about him changes. He was thinking some worldly thoughts. All those worldly thoughts disappear. Now he's at this level where he's not thinking very many worldly thoughts. He has become very devoted to God, but there is still some worldliness left, traces of worldliness left. They disappear altogether. His mind is now no longer ruled by Maya, it is ruled by God. Because you see, Maya disappears from the middle. There's God, there's Maya, there's a soul, right? Intellect, mind. Now there's God, Maya has gone. God has said, get away, leave this one alone. Maya will still exist. But Maya is like handcuffs. Now this prisoner has spent all his days that he was meant to stay in jail, and now the prison guard, the guard comes and says, I will release you. So he opens the handcuffs. The handcuffs don't disappear. They're not destroyed. They will go on another prisoner. So Maya is like a pair of handcuffs. And so God tells Maya to go away. So now there's God, soul, is intellect, and mind. So now we can see God clearly. We can hear his words clearly. We can understand him clearly. We can know him completely. Now God will give to that most fortunate soul his knowledge, his bliss, all his property, all his powers. But technically speaking, someone could say, well, there's one power that God does not give. And that is true. Jagat Vyapara Varjam. God gives all the powers, but God says, I will not give you the power of creation because it's a very complicated work. And no saint has ever said, no, I want that power. I want to do that work. I want to create universes. Nobody ever wants that. So God says, I'll keep that for myself. So Jagat Vyapara Varjam. Brahma Sutra says this. But otherwise, the saint, Sant or the Guru, Mahatma, Mahapurush, he's the same as God. Tasmin stajane bheda bhavat, says Narad Muni in Narad Bhakti Darshan. There is no difference between God and the Guru, in other words, the one who has attained God. Both have the same powers because God has given everything to the saint. God does not hold anything back. In the world, when somebody has a talent, then you say, can you show me how you did this? And that person will show you something and he will hold back some knowledge, some information. Many a time when someone says, this is so delicious, can you give me the recipe? No. Whenever you want to eat it, I'll make it for you. And I've heard this say, two people talking like this many times, I'll just make it for you. I want to withhold this information because then you'll be making the same things I'm making and everybody will be saying that you and you both make it really well. Right now people are saying you are the best one in the community. You make gulab jamun, you're the best one. I can't give my recipe away. We withhold small little trivial knowledge from others. God gives his godly powers to the one who says, you are my one and only. From his heart, he says, you are my one and only. The one who accepts God to be his one and only, receives everything. God says, here you go. Take everything from me. But God does not, he does not become depleted of everything because, you see, he has uncountable powers, unlimited bliss, immeasurable knowledge, bliss. So even if unlimited minus unlimited, if you take unlimited from unlimited, you remain with unlimited. So God still remains with unlimited everything, even though he gives away unlimited knowledge and unlimited powers to the one who accepts him to be his one and only. Now when we listen to what happens when someone attains God's grace, we become kind of greedy, don't we? I want that. I want the grace. I want the grace of God. Arjun says, now I have true knowledge because of your grace. Arjun receives divine eyes and he can see the godly form of Shri Krishna. Nothing happens without God's grace. There was Dhruv, who was a little boy, and when he meditated on God, and one day God appeared, and little Dhruv, he could not even speak properly, but God touched the shank that he had to Dhruv's shoulder, and by doing that, he gave Dhruv divinity, he gave Dhruv divine knowledge, divine bliss, everything. We hear about this and we think, I want that too. So how can I gain God's grace? How can I receive God's grace? That's a topic for tomorrow. So tomorrow we will talk about what Lord Krishna says about receiving divine grace. But today it's enough to understand that we can attain grace, we can receive the darshan of God, we can know God only by receiving his grace, only by becoming humble. Humility is very, very important. It is essential. if we are not humble, we will not ask for God's grace. We will not plead helplessness before Him if we are thinking, I am something too. We must plead helplessness and accept that it is only with His grace that we can know Him. But how can we attain that grace? That we will find out tomorrow from the Bhagavad Gita and with the inspiration and grace of Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, भगवद गीता की जय. जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री